The wilds of America are still haunted by a great and powerful spirit. Its isolated methods have long been shrouded in myth and mystery, as they're nearly impossible to observe in nature. Mountain lions, sometimes known as cougars, pumas, panthers, or catamounts, are huge cats native to the Americas. But how do cougars interact with other animals? If you want to find out, keep watching as we count down 8 amazing cougar and mountain lion hunts. Number 8. Dog. During this night footage, you can see a mountain lion approaching a house and a dog jumping at the cougar. The only problem for the dog is it's not a house cat. The two battle it out, but it's not long before the mountain lion has the dog by the throat and choking it. The dog tries desperately to escape, but it can't. Suddenly, the mountain lion gets up as if it heard a noise and scrams, leaving the dog behind. I guess the owner of the house heard the noise and rattled the cat. The good news is the dog looks alive and fine. I'm sure it withstood some injuries, but nothing to prevent it from walking around. This guy was hiking with his Labrador when they came across a cougar. You can see the cougar hissing and puffing, and the dog staring and barking at it, although it wouldn't stand a chance against the cat. The man yells like a madman to scare the cat away, but it doesn't work. The cat is afraid, but it remains there. The man even tries growling like a bear, but the cat doesn't flinch. This cougar does not seem to be full grown. I might be wrong, but that's the impression I get. As the man and the dog retreat, the cat advances. What's scary about cats is that they can lean up in the air to attack you. So if I was this guy, I would kind of slowly walk away, always looking at the cat. These dogs threaten this mountain lion, and they don't back down 1 second, even though this cat is dangerous. The dogs bark at the feline as it retreats onto the grass. This pet puma got out and spent 8 minutes terrorizing a family's dog in their backyard. Before being tranquilized, the animal wandered through the garden and clamped its teeth around this poor vulnerable little puppy for 8 minutes. The puma was supposed to be part of a local oligarch who lived in nearby luxury housing developments where many celebrities live, according to village residents. During the early morning attack, the male cat fled and terrified residents. It stayed in this man's garden for an hour and a half, frightening his dogs and choking one of them until emergency personnel shot it with a tranquilizer. The dog somehow survived the encounter, as if the puma was playing with it rather than intending to kill it. This next video is cut short, but you can see 4 dogs barking at the cougar, and one of the dogs slips in the grasp of the cat. You can hear the dog's handler yelling, but that's where the video cuts off. We don't know what happened, but I'm sure the dog that fell did not have a good time. Number 7. Guanaco. Camel-like guanacos are linked to graceful guanacos. They inhabit in dry, open country in the mountains or on the plains of South America. People began to domesticate guanacos for use as pack animals because of their placid demeanor. The outcome is today's llama, which is a domesticated variant of the guanaco. They don't exist in the wild. Pumas are natural predators of the guanaco. When threatened, they make a high-pitched bleating sound that sounds like a brief, sharp laugh, which alerts the remainder of the herd. Guanacos are 3 times the size of a female puma and stand 2 meters tall. Will this mother be able to feed her cubs as they grow? The guanaco is a piece of work. It keeps running and knocking over the puma, but the puma doesn't quit, and her cubs try to help, but they're just too small and don't have the skills to bring down such large prey. To make matters worse, the mother is badly injured. Her wounds are severe and will take weeks to heal properly, but without food, her cubs won't survive for long. This puma hunts down a young guanaco and fiddles with it before letting it go again. It sort of toys with the young animal, letting it escape and catching up to it afterwards. It repeats the process over and over again. I feel bad for the young guanaco, but I guess the puma has a reason for doing this. It's as if the puma knows the prey cannot escape its grasp, so it's taking its sweet time. After killing this young guanaco, this puma drags its kill to a safer area to consume it. It's not easy, even if the guanaco is young, because it weighs quite a bit, so the puma must take breaks in between. This puma stalks a guanaco at night and achieves its first successful kill on its own, and victory is sweet. Blocked by the fence, the guanaco has no possible chance of escape. The young puma has passed a crucial threshold. Her apprenticeship is over. From this moment on, it is a hunter. As if their lives weren't difficult enough, the guanacos now have another predator to watch out for. This puma jumps on this guanaco, but the video is cut short and all we see is the puma flying over the guanaco and disappearing. What an amazing sight! This female puma took her time getting into the correct position to take on a hesitant guanaco, and she moved at the perfect moment. That does not guarantee the puma any food. It demonstrates how large and powerful a guanaco is, as well as how tough it is for the pumas to get a meal. Number 6. Deer. Cougars are pelagic carnivores, which means they can only survive if they eat live prey. Deer account for most of the cougar's food in certain states. You can see the cougar in our thumbnail tackle a much larger deer than he could probably handle, but the deer seems to be falling to the ground, so I guess the cougar is doing something right. This mountain lion grabs this deer by the throat and suffocates it as the deer tries to free itself. Once the cat has it in this position, it is very difficult for it to escape. The cougar makes the kill and drags the deer into the forest, but the deer is still alive, so the cougar chokes it a little longer just to make sure it's dead. In this archival footage, you can see some vintage footage of a rare encounter between a mountain lion and a mule deer. The two animals study one another as the cat tries to figure out the best way of taking down the deer, and the deer is thinking escape. But where? The cat launches the attack, and the mule deer jumps and kicks as hard as it can. But in the end, the stronger animal wins. Who knew mule deer and mountain lions spoke English? On the side of the road, the man filming was observing a buck and a doe. When the buck stepped into the junipers, a tangled mass of flesh and hide tumbled into the driver's side of his automobile. He was startled to see a mountain lion leaping into the air and landing on the back of the buck. In fewer than 5 seconds, the deer's life was sealed. That is, until the man regained his composure and began ranting at the cat. After shouting a couple of times, the cougar was startled and took off. The man yelled at the buck to get up and run while it was still time, and that's exactly what it did. I guess the cat will find another buck to tangle with. This mountain lion takes down a huge buck. The buck runs with the big cat hanging on its back, but it eventually falls to the ground. The buck is relentless, and it kicks out violently with its hind legs, but the mountain lion is so powerful it can keep the buck down without a problem. Watch this mountain lion sprint towards these deer crossing the road, and in seconds, he manages to bring one down. This requires a lot of speed and skill, and that's exactly what this mountain lion has. Michelle and Twain Hayden of Arbin, Idaho were driving home after a basketball game at Idaho State University when they observed something strange on the road. They noticed a deer struggling around as they got closer. Then they realized what was causing it to thrash around. They were startled to see this massive buck, and they couldn't figure out what it was up to. They finally came to a halt because it kept leaping out onto the road and off the bank. So they just kind of slowed down, and it didn't take long for them to notice what was dangling from its neck once they stopped. It was a mountain lion attempting to capture it, but the buck was quite strong and dragged the cat all over the place until it was able to free. Once it was gone, it was clear that the cat wasn't particularly large, and it was astonishing that it was even able to hang on to the large buck for so long. This mountain lion was caught attacking a deer on a residential front porch. According to the owner of the house, the deer had wandered onto the porch to eat some roses before being dragged away by the mountain lion. Number 5. Bear. Cougars are frequently the losers when their hunting grounds overlap with those of other top predators such as wolves, bears, and jaguars. Unless it is in self-defense, a cougar will not attack a bear. At best, a cougar will have difficulty defending itself against a bear, let alone killing it. Cougars are territorial when it comes to other cougars, but not in the same way that bears are. As a result, a cougar is unlikely to assault a bear. This small bear fights a mountain lion, and the fight is even simply because the bear is not very big. I mean, the cat is bigger than the bear, which is kind of weird. This fluffy cougar confronts this bear, and for a moment, it seems to have the upper hand. It jumps on the bear, launching a vicious attack, but the bear does not back off. This encounter has been a rather rude awakening for the bear, but the cat seems to have moved on. Another sneak attack by the cat, but then the cougar lies down in front of the bear, almost like a playful kitten. Has all of this been exercised just to keep himself in hunting shape? The cat finally walks away, and the sleepy bear drifts back into his cave. This cougar attacks a bear, and the bear is so upset, it yells at the top of his lungs without stopping to let the cat know it disturbed its peace. This black bear stands in front of this cougar and keeps walking towards the cat as the cat backs up. And when the fight erupts, the cat defends itself, and when the bear becomes too overwhelming, the cat scampers off. This mountain lion chases this small bear up a tree and jumps so high, it's able to make the bear fall to the ground. Once both the animals are on the ground, the bear takes the fight to the mountain lion. The attacks are brutal, and the young cat soon realizes the bear is more than he can handle. When a bear tries to attack its pups, watch this gorgeous puma come to their rescue. The puma dashes toward the bear, forcing it to flee. Because the bear isn't particularly large, it doesn't take much for it to change its mind. Even if it involves taking on a giant grizzly, a puma mother will not back down from a fight if it means protecting her offspring. Number 4. Cats. I never thought I would see this, but a cougar is attacking a domestic cat in a residential area. How does this happen? I feel bad for the cat, but the cougar is only following its instincts. When a mountain lion comes close to a window, it notices a domestic cat. The brave kitty appears unconcerned, even turning its back on the lion. When the lion hears people conversing in the background, he decides to leave. The mountain lion is gorgeous and it's mesmerizing to look at. This cougar decides to bully a lynx in the middle of winter. Lynxes are smaller than cougars, but they're no pushovers. Number 3. Raccoon. If given the opportunity, bobcats, mountain lions, and pumas will all hunt raccoons. These huge predators can consume both juvenile and adult raccoons, which helps keep the raccoon population in check. This huge mountain lion crashes a raccoon party and snatches one of the raccoons. Of course, the raccoon is no match for the mountain lion, but all the screeching and yelling wakes up the family, which startles the big cat. This causes the cat to drop the raccoon, and I'm sure you're thinking, hey, the raccoon is going to make it out of there alive. But when you look at the raccoon, he's totally disoriented and looks practically inebriated, like he just finished drinking a case of beer. This neighborhood has seen more than one mountain lion sighting, so I would make sure all my fences are locked if I lived in that area. This cougar easily kills a raccoon on the road and carries it off the road afterward. Killing a raccoon for a cougar is like killing a mouse for a domestic cat. This cougar snatches a raccoon and runs off with it in its mouth, afraid of being caught by the person yelling at it. This mountain lion chases these raccoons up a tree, and it manages to grab the last raccoon climbing the tree and runs away with it. Number 2. Elk. Mountain lions are certainly the most dangerous elk hunters in the forest, yet their impacts on prey populations are usually minor due to their patchy disposition across wide terrain. The importance of having a dedicated and effective base of lion hunters cannot be overstated. Watch as a cougar sneaks up on a calf elk and kills it. Later, a man discovered the calf's carcass just 15 feet downhill from where the cougar had caught it. You can see the cougar in slow motion chasing the elk in the background. Watch as this cougar is seen attacking and killing an elk with a sudden burst of speed and strength, smacking the elk and quickly dispatching it. You can hear the noise it makes when the cougar collides into the elk. Number 1. American badger and other foes. There are only a few animals that will bother the American badger. Badgers are small animals, weighing less than or equal to 30 pounds even in the largest males. With muscular jaws, sharp fangs, long sharp claws, and potent scent glands, they are ruthless adversaries. Badgers also have loose-fitting coats, making it difficult for predators to trap them. Badgers are difficult to bite or claw, and they can almost turn themselves inside out. Cougars rely on sight and hearing far more than scent when hunting. They take 2 or 3 large leaps towards the target before firing a lightning-fast charge and striking it. The most typical manner for victims to die at the hands of a cougar is suffocation, which occurs when the windpipe is compressed by a sustained bite across the throat. The neck of the prey might be shattered with a single bite. Small prey, such as mule deer fawns, die from broken necks, whereas large prey, such as moose calves and elk, die from suffocation. A cougar will cover its carcass with debris between feedings to make it less likely for scavengers to find and eat it. In our first video, this cougar jumps a badger, and you can see the badger is about the same size as the raccoon, but the cougar is having a much harder time subduing it. Of course, the cougar is bigger and stronger than the badger, and it doesn't mean it won't eventually kill the badger, but what's fascinating is how long it takes for the big cat to make the kill. The question is, will it even be able to do so? This American badger is nice and chubby, and it sends this cougar off on its way. The cougar is kind of shy, and it doesn't insist too much. This puma meets up with a jaguar and a fight ensues. The fight is violence, and both cats tumble over each other, throwing jabs and uppercuts by the dozen. The jaguar flees when it hears its mama calling it for dinner. Sloths think they're safe when they're high up in the trees, but this puma has no problem climbing this tree and grabbing the sloth. The sloth tries to hold on to the tree, but the puma is too powerful. This puma goes fishing and it finally catches a duck. The duck struggles, but the puma makes it quick and painless. A group of campers in the Canadian forest captured a remarkable encounter on their phones. In an incredible battle to the death captured on camera for the first time, a cougar sinks its teeth into a wolf and breaks his neck. The cougar holds the wolf until it suffocates and dies. This mountain lion tries to hunt this goat, but the goat backs the cat into the corner. On sure ground, the goat goes all out for victory. It's a slugfest as the mountain lion lashes back at blinding speed. The mountain goat stands its ground, and the mountain lion decides it has had enough. Cougars do not discriminate when it comes to prey, and this cougar shows us just that when it attacks an eagle and finishes it off. This poor penguin doesn't have a chance in hell to escape the grasp of this puma. It's cooked, fried, and roasted even before the puma touches it. This cougar chases this fluffy bunny rabbit in the snow and eventually catches up to it. There is nothing the cougar will not harm. If it's alive and meaty, it's a go. This duel between a puma and a hawk is interesting. Instead of flying above the puma, the hawk faces it standing up on the ground. I'm not sure, but this looks like a young puma, so maybe the hawk feels like it's not in danger. If I were the hawk, I would just take off. But maybe if it tries flying, that's when the cougar will strike. Finally, this cougar chases a hiker on this dirt road. The hiker yells at the cougar to try and scare it off, but the cougar keeps walking toward the hiker. The hiker never turns his back to the cougar because that would be a fatal move. Nevertheless, it must be a terrifying experience to have a wild animal chase you like that. This cat is so stubborn and just does not stop moving towards the terrified hiker. In the end, the hiker survived and the cat eventually let him be. Not only is the cougar gorgeous, but I never imagined it was such a powerful hunter. My favorite has to be when the cougar confronted some of those bears. Which one was your favorite? Why don't you let us know in the comments below? Well, that's our countdown of 8 amazing cougar and mountain lion hunts. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and let us know in the comments what you think. Check out our other videos and subscribe to be part of the fun. Click on the notification icon so you can see our new videos as soon as they're uploaded. That's it for now.